All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Raiders. This team is coming out for blood this upcoming season. They started it off with a bang with John Speitek, the brand new GM. They went out there, they got Pete Carroll as their head coach. They made a trade for Geno Smith this past weekend to get their quarterback. And free agency week 1 is officially coming to a close. And there have been so many moves, specifically in my opinion, in the secondary, that are really going to impact this Raiders team next season. I'm looking at guys like Jeremy Chinn that I think is just an A+ signing. I really do. I look at former Packer Eric Stokes. I think there's a lot of intrigue there. Lonnie Johnson Jr., a lot of intrigue there. Adam Butler's back. Malcolm Kuntz is back. They picked up a Landon Roberts. Raheem Mostert late last night. I think the Raiders have had at least an A- free agency period. And what a lot of people don't realize about this team is they truly were only missing a quarterback. Now, yeah, they had some run issues last year, maybe bulk up the offensive line. The defensive line was absolutely decimated by injuries. But this Raiders team has so much talent, specifically on the defensive side of the football. And I think Pete Carroll is going to get this team right because they certainly have the talent. And it's just been coaching malpractice with this organization for way too many years. So I'm loving it. We're going to talk about a couple of specific players. Here's the Raiders free agency period thus far, or at least most notable. Adam Butler re-signed. Alex Kappa picked up the guard. Jeremy Chinn, free agent. Max Crosby extension. Lonnie Johnson, free agent. Malcolm Kuntz re-signed. Raheem Mostert, Landon Roberts, Eric Stokes, and Geno Smith have all joined this team in the last couple of days. But I want to start it off with Jeremy Chinn. But before we do, hit that like button, hit that sub button, folks, for daily NFL and Raiders content. If you could try and get this video to 150 likes, folks, it goes a very, very long way. So thank you so much. But let's start with Jeremy Chinn. I love this move. I think Patrick Graham is going to turn this guy into an absolute monster. And I don't know what made me think of this. Maybe it was Eric Stokes, Green Bay Packers defensive back coming to Las Vegas. But this move almost feels like Xavier McKinney going to the Green Bay Packers last season. The dude had like 5 interceptions in the first 5 games. Maybe it was like 6 picks in the first 6 games. And they paid a bunch of money. The Packers paid a bunch of money for him in free agency day 1. And it's a little bit different because Jeremy Chinn got 2 years worth $16 million. And they also lost Trevon Moehrig. But this is just the definition of a value signing, in my opinion. And I think Patrick Graham is absolutely going to love him. So, Trevon Moehrig went to the Carolina Panthers on Monday. And Jeremy Chinn actually started his first 4 years with the Carolina Panthers organization. He was solid. And then he went to be with Dan Quinn, one of the best defensive-minded head coaches in the National Football League with the Washington Commanders. And he had by far his best season in the National Football League. 117 tackles. 7 of those were for a loss. This guy can line up in the box. He can do everything you want a defensive player to do. He is that versatile. He had 2 sacks. He also had 1 interception. And here's where it gets even better. He ranked 6th amongst all safeties and tackles, resulting in a defensive stop at 35. And he's very good at the line of scrimmage. He earned a 70.3 PFF overall grade and a 73.9 PFF coverage grade when lined up in the box. All right. Now, when he was at free safety, 61 overall grade, 60.2 overall coverage grade, still solid. But when you get this guy in the box, he's like a linebacker. He's that versatile. So I know they're going to love him. Staying with the defensive back room, Eric Stokes. And I think the best way to describe this guy is it's so high upside. And the contract value is very good. 1 year, $4 million contract. It's very low risk. The reward is very high. Eric Stokes' biggest issue since being a first-round draft pick for Green Bay in 2021 has just been staying healthy. The dude just has not been able to stay healthy. But in his rookie season with Green Bay in 2021, he was, and the guy was an absolute stud. And Packers fans were extremely amped. I was so hyped about this guy's future. And then in second and third seasons, the guy just could not stay on the field. And then last year, guys were just better than him, right? He hadn't played football in 2 years. So he's primarily played as an outside corner throughout his career, and he's probably going to be the same with Las Vegas. He's going to compete with playing time with Jack Jones, Jacorian Bennett, Cameron Richardson, the rookie last year. What really intrigued me about this is Stokes explained that Pete Carroll called him before he signed with the team and convinced him to join it. He just had this excerpt. Pretty much the defense that he wants to run, where he wants some guys to be able to play press man-to-man. And I feel like that's my strongest that I could do is play press man-to-man with my speed, with my length, and all that stuff. Like, he's got longer arms than a top 10 pick in Will Campbell in the draft, LSU. So I think Eric Stokes is, we'll see how he does in camp, but I think it's a very high upside, low risk move. And I love it. And speaking of high upside, low risk moves, we switched to the offense. Raheem Mostert was picked up, I think it was late last night for the Las Vegas Raiders, and the contract is really good. 1 year, $2.1 million contract. I know he's old. He's turning 33 in April, and I know he's a running back, and there's a lot of wear and tear on running backs, but he was mainly a special teams guy in the first 5-6 years of his NFL career, and he made a Pro Bowl in 2023 with the Miami Dolphins. He had over 1,000 rushing yards, 18 rushing touchdowns. He also had 3 receiving touchdowns, so he had 21 combined touchdowns at 31 years old. Last year, he was injured, so we barely saw anything. We saw only 278 rushing yards and a career low 3.3 yards per carry, but he's coming from Miami, and Miami had a really bad season. They dealt with a multitude of different injuries, specifically to Tua, and their season was a dumpster fire. But even with the reduced workload, he still forced 16 missed tackles and recorded 10 explosive runs. And he also recently told NFL Network that he has plenty left in the tank. And I think he's just going to fit well as a 1-2 back because they're going to draft a rookie. I don't know if they're actually going to draft Genty at pick number 6. It kind of seems like the unanimous Raider Nation vibe is that whoever is going to be available at pick number 6 shouldn't really be picked there. So it seems like a lot of people want the Raiders to trade back into the first round to get more draft capital. But regardless, if they take Genty at 6 or if they take a running back in the late first round or they use a second or third round pick on a running back, there will be a rookie RB. And that's why Raheem Mostert was signed to this team. And they still have Sincere McCormick, who really flashed in like a 2-week period before he was done for the season. So I like the Mostert move. Veteran, old guy in the locker room, just an OG vet. Can't go wrong. So I like it, and it's setting up the draft perfectly. Folks, that's it for tonight. We still have a bunch more we can talk about Las Vegas, but we'll save that for the weekend. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for more. But guys, give me an overall grade on the Las Vegas Raiders free agency thus far. I'm going to give it a nice A-. But that's it from me. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you in a couple of days. Peace.